Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Q&A. Today is a rainy Saturday here in Norway, um, and it's perfect timing for the Q&A. Today I'm joined by Flo,
Hello.
and Dalton is also joining here in about a half an hour, and then we should see Dalton up here. Um, so let's just jump straight into the news, to the updates. I think I will start with something really exciting, at least on my perspective, because this is my area, my low level area, um, where Halium 7.1 is coming along. The source is now released, so people can try to board it if you want, but it's nothing bootable yet. It's nothing usable yet, but it's in a state where you can actually build it and ADB shell into to Android 7 on Halium, which is pretty cool. Um, there has been a lot of work going on with Android 7 because there has been quite a lot of API changes and especially build system changes. They implemented some new C++ APIs that's only for the NDK in Android that we had to somehow monkey patch out of it because we don't need it, and quite a lot of work have been going on there. I would say most of the my time of the work have been going to bringing up Android 7. Um, the Android source code that we are dealing with is so huge. It's 30 gigabyte of just source code to compile and manage and get up and running. So it's quite a lot of stuff to get around. And for the most part, I've been removing Java parts because we don't need Java. So that's one of the most exciting things on the low level stuff. But I think Flo can give you some more information on what's happening on top of the system. On the apps.
Yeah, sure. So basically, we get more and more things, more and more people interested in our core apps, and they're trying to patch up things. We're already merging a lot of small fixes for the gallery app, for example, for the keyboard, for the clock app. There was some contribution. And I must say it starts off pretty well, but we also hit the first barriers, like, for example, localization. This is an open thing. We have to think about how we're going to deal with the localization for all the components of the system. Because when it was canonical still, they used the Launchpad services for translation. And we have to try to get this hooked up again to our distribution system again. So because people now want to contribute to translations, but if they're going to translate every PO file manually and then they make merge requests and we merge it into our code, it's quite complicated. For every small change with the strings, we have to give another round of merge requests, and for every language it will be one. So in the end, every core app will have, I don't know, 20 or 30 PRs opened and closed again, so it's not very efficient. So one of the things that is on the roadmap is how to deal better with the translations. And so I ask a little bit for patience for all the people who want to contribute for translations. It doesn't make sense to start off now on a big scale. Let's continue a little bit like it is now. If there are urgent things, you can open up a PR and we will try to get it in. And the rest should wait a little bit for a translation system that we are going to set up. Yeah, from that side, we will also try to put some of these newly built or newly updated apps into the next OTA, of course. That means the core apps should be updated as well. Hopefully, that's the goal. Before that, we will not launch now like we do this on the Devil channel. Maybe some of the things will get an update on the Devil channels, but for the stable images, there will be no core app update, I think, because it doesn't make much sense. Yeah. We're working with the contributors to test the things. So if you're participating on GitHub in one of the bugs or feature requests and you see that people are building already something, you can ask maybe for testing a quick build, then somebody can give you one. But in general, we will not make them publicly available. They will just arrive in the OTA. Yeah, that's the idea. Good. That's for the moment everything for the apps itself. I can also maybe speak shortly about the backup function that we made. It's a tiny little backup function that we put now into the MDT in Mario's device tool. So who is interested? It's of course Magic Device Tool. I know this was just a joke. Everybody like who? So Magic Device Tool, please. Just started. It will update itself. It will pull from GitHub the latest version, and inside on the Ubuntu option menu, you will find a backup option that you can use to make a simple backup to the local SD card or to a server remotely via SSH and rsync. It will only update really the essential data. We cannot update apps at the moment, and we lose a little bit of system settings like Wi-Fi passwords, background pictures, ringtones, and this stuff. But the most important thing is that the contacts, the text messages, and lots of things from the apps are really able to be backed and restored. Yeah. So I got not so much feedback from Telegram. I would ask people to try it out. If it works, or if they have any issues, then we can improve it a little bit. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
I wanted to add one thing on. You said using the build servers. I have been working on something. I don't know if you heard about Jenkins pipeline, which is essentially works like more or less like Travis CA, where we can just have a build file inside your repo, and then just GitHub, our Jenkins server just automatically improves, automatically builds it. For example, when it comes a pull request, it will be built. For example, if there's a new version or a new pull, it will get built, and it also will do all these things automatically. Where it's when you push a new update, it will automatically push it to the system in your server. To manually go to PPA and upload to the PPA and those kind of stuff to get more optimization and get things working snappy. I think that's something we need. As I said, I've been working on it, but kind of Android 7 have kind of consumed my time, I would say, for a while.
Yeah, sure. I think continuous integration makes pretty much sense for us if we can automate the things as much as possible, because then it will be stabilizing itself, and we can get much faster cycle times. We don't need to do anything manually there. That's sure. Okay. Shall we? Yeah.
I think I will just touch on the topic of Xenial, since Xenial and Halium is kind of working hand in hand, where Halium comes first and then comes Xenial. But I think most of the developing there actually happen at the same time, because we are working on a Xenial base. Halium is based on Xenial, so the stuff that we make on Halium will actually be useful for us on UBports, and also Plasma and everyone else that's using Halium, which is the beauty of Halium, where we have one base and it works on everything. But more specific on the Xenial on Ubuntu side, there is still some stabilization that's need to be made on Unity 8, because it's kind of in a Frankenstein environment now, where it's kind of where the developers was pushing really hard on the desktop side of things. I kind of forgot or left the phone side of things out. So things is just a bit rough for the phone users. So things needs to be cleaned up there. And also I think we need to bring back some of the stuff from the older system. Because, for example, the new Dash system that was made for desktop, it also works on phone, but it's not really practical for phones. So I think we really need to do some heavy work on Unity 8. Well, not heavy, but at least do some work before we have a Xenial base. But at least, as I said last week, 2 weeks ago, last Q&A, that we will get a development channel up and running where people can try it out regardless of it's stable or not. Just a really bleeding edge devil channel that people can play around with, develop on, and also do translation and also just check out the progress in it. Because right now lots of the progress is happening on the low level stuff where people not necessarily see the stuff that gets changed, which is important for us to kind of give also expression that things is happening in the community, that even though we are working really hard on the low level stuff, things is happening. It's not because, as it might seem, while I've been working on Halium, like for example, 2 weeks ago I was working hard on the bugs and got a lot of stuff done, but I still get a lot of stuff done, but they are low level. It's just hard to explain that balance there. So I think, as I said, as fast as possible, we will get you out the development channel where people can actually see the changes that goes into at least these 2 weeks, and further on, people can see the progress happening at the most. And also the development will be happening at more rapid pace than have been happening on Vivid, since there is quite difficult to work on Vivid right now, since everything needs to be backported back. I think that's 2-3 years back now, and that's there's so much new stuff that hasn't been back supported, so that we just get for free from upgrading to Xenial.
So maybe for clarification, that means Halium is more or less now jumping over Android 6 base, right? Would you say that there is a chance also for these devices that can only run 6.0 for some reasons, that they also get a Halium in the future? Or because I'm pretty sure people will ask now, okay, that sounds nice, but I have an older device. Can I still have a hope that Halium will be available for it, and also 1604 maybe, let's say it that way? Yeah.
Well, 5.1 will still be supported for Halium. And then 7.1 may be supporting for Halium, and further on. The reason why we skipped 6 is because devices that stopped at 6 and didn't get 7 has support for 5.1, but devices that didn't have 6.0 only had 6 and upwards have now 7 support. So it's just I don't think there is much devices that only have 6. I don't think any of the none of the flagship devices has that, and none of the Linux OS devices is just stuck on that. So
okay, good. Yeah, that's then quite clear. People also, of course, in general, asking lots of questions about will we port for device this or that. I always kindly refer them to the forum post where I already explained some weeks ago that porting to new devices is not a priority here. And then the second question that people have, okay, how complicated it is to make a new port. And they're all like this, already waiting to take their unique phone where maybe they'll love it for something for some years. Do you think we will be able to explain to everyone how it works, or will we always have some developer knowledge necessary?
I would say that still there is the porting work is it's hard work, because you need to really dig into the low level stuff, and often you need to pull up the debuggers and kernel debuggers and all those kind of tools that you not normally use on high level. So which often prints out in just hacks and just binary. So there is still, if you really run into a big issue, you probably will be stuck for a while. I have been stuck for numerous times where I'm just sitting for, I think sat for a week and haven't got nothing down because it just doesn't make sense. But then you just change one little thing and it just works, and you're just like, why did that work? And that's kind of how it goes. You kind of have to test and try, because, for example, if you get a kernel panic on a device that doesn't have serial output, you have no logs for going after. And you kind of have to guess what is happening. So you kind of have to take one kernel config and just tweaking the kernel all the way to it, like, oh, it boots, and now try to take the kernel config back and see where did it go wrong. Oh, this kernel config. So still there is some fiddling around there. But with that said, what Halium also is supposed to set out to do is making the documentation much more in depth, making the documentation much better, and also combining all the documentation that we have now from Ubuntu Touch, from Selfie, from KDE, and everyone, and just combining it into one mega doc, and also one mega community. Just based on this core functionality of porting and doing that kind of work.
Well, Marius has stopped a little bit. I think his internet is still not 100% repaired. You were a little bit, let's say, stopped for a second or two.
Oh yeah, my internet is dying here. It's thundering outside here nowhere, so it's just my network is going nuts.
Okay, well, let's hope it can sustain the next 40 minutes until we have finished our Q&A.
I hope so.
Okay.
So where was I? Where did I drop out?
Yes, basically, just the last 2 or 3 sentences were lost. But
yeah, okay. So just to sum that out, yeah, it will be easier with documentation, but still, it will be hard. That's
okay. So there's this one item, 1604 stabilization on my list. I think we covered this more or less. I would say, yeah, that with Unity is clear. We need a Unity that works. So far on the list, there is no more technical items.
I don't think there is any more technical items, and the top one, I think we should wait to Dalton arise. But one thing that's been happening is the new website.
Yes, marketing a new website. I think, this is a long note here. Maybe we should summarize it, because if I'm reading this all, then we lose the last 20 minutes or so, the next 20 minutes. No, just let's summarize the website and so.
Yeah, so let's just start with the new website. The new website is out. It's not based on. It's now based on a more stable, easy. Well, it is stable, but it's an easier way to manage the website and editing the content, where we have a back end on the, was just the source code, where mostly me and John did the modification there, but now it's a whole back end which is called Odo, where you can do where people that's not really a coder can actually go in, modify things, fixing translations. We might have translation, but fixing spelling is what I was supposed to say, and also spawn new websites pretty easy. Spawns new pages and also forms and mailing lists and all those kind of things I just handle inside this backend. Which makes it much easier for people that's not that technical, and for people that does the marketing part of UBports, where they can really get their hands on a powerful tool to really get out, spread the news, like mailing list, and spread the beauty of UBports.
And we should also note that the marketing is quite large. It's already 9 members. So you can see we are also dedicating a lot of effort into marketing now, at least on the start. because I think even maybe if we don't like it, but our world is more and more driven by good marketing and by good presentation of things. So if we would have the super perfect product but only a very boring website, then yeah, it's not so interesting. So I think it's a good thing, and 9 people is really a huge response. They founded the team, I think, 3 weeks ago or something like this, or 4 weeks. And the
Yeah.
result of these 4 weeks is already this beautiful website. So I'm really completely stunned by the progress here.
But yeah, and just in general, this makes the whole kind of marketing actually just for us to get a voice in the community and get a voice in the world really, and really spread out the beauty of Converge and all those kind of course ideas that we have, and really show them that that's the long-term plan to actually get where the website can really show you what potential a bunch has, and also security based, and also all the things that our core ideas where we want to get the information to the user as soon as they enter the website, instead of, because if the user really needs to dig for the information, most people will not bother to find that information. So for us, it's really important to get the information out on our website, which is our main point of welcoming, I would say.
Yeah, sure. By the way, we should maybe also say thank you to the guys from Smooth to
Yes.
getting all this done and set up to help with the auto package. And yeah, I think maybe you can explain in 2 sentences how is the relation between Smooth and UBports, because it's already going for some time. And I think that they really contributed already a lot in terms of manpower, in terms of financial and other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Smooth is a bigger sponsor. They help us sponsor. They helped us sponsor to MWC. They helped us sponsor the website now. They helped us sponsor most of the Fairphones. They also helped us sponsor the foundation now that's happening. So Smooth is really a big part of the success to UBports, and I really have to thank Smooth for their work, and also thanks for their donation for time and everything. It's really humble of them to be as generous as they am, and also I see that the employees there are so passionate about this project, and they really seem to love the project. Uh, Already seen some of the people from Smooch around in our community, and they are really active people. And I really want to do the best to get this conversion idea and get this mobile platform idea and to get this secure platform that we call One to Touch out to the people, because as we really want a Linux-based, fully open source platform for everyone to use. Because the sad truth is that both Android and iOS already closed, but Android is getting more and more closed, as you see with Android tightly integrating with everything, and all the finger Google has in everything, where they're having docs, they have Play, they have in YouTube, whatever, they have everything now, and they more or less control everything, because your phone is now your entry or your digital point to the internet, and for most people that's where they do most of their work, is on the phone, and also both work and private stuff, it's all happening on the same phone, and if one company has that much power, I don't think it's really, for me, it doesn't sound good. I don't like using Google, but I still use Google. It's just because it's so easy to use. But it's just that feeling that someone is behind you. I think that's one of the main idea that sparks my interest too, is that to get this platform that really that you really can trust. Really, I think that's the main thing. A platform that you can actually trust, and you can see all the source code, and you can actually modify how you want without needing to root your device, without needing to open the bootloader and all those kind of bullshit that's happening with Android devices. And you really, with Android devices, you are installing a root application that comes from a random user from a forum someplace, which really sounds shitty to me. I always, when I root my phone, I always code before I do anything. So yeah, I think that's the core idea. That really sparks Smooth also to have this platform. But I think one of a good thing would have to have one of the Smooth members on here to more talk about what their point is and what they're looking for in UBports. That would be good where they themselves also share instead of me talking in their behalf.
I think that would be a good idea. Maybe we can invite them for a Q&A, so specifically talk a little bit with the community about their motivation, their drivers, and so. I think it's a good point now, a good time to thank all the other sponsors and the Patreons. They really gave a huge donation already in the last months, and it continues to grow. Do you know what the current Patreon goal is, or where we are? Roughly?
I will. I can just
maybe he can check
because it's growing so fast. So
yeah, there's also the question here that if there is a new goal for Patreon. I mean, I don't know if we really need a goal, but maybe it's motivating for the people.
It's $1,809, which is huge. One of the things that we actually discussed here, is have a goal where we set up a community app found or a community found, where when we reach, for example, $2,000, 500 of those will get to the app found, where, for example, the app developer can request help to develop an app. For example, if they need a debug device, if they need something else that they need to make this app, or not only app, but to make stuff in general for UBports. If they need a debug device, we could have a app found or a found where we Patreon, we take some of the Patreon money, slap that into that one, and that will only go to the community, where, for example, a developer, as I said, comes along and want to develop on Nexus 5, and he requests, or his Nexus 5 breaks, and he have done great work for UBports, we can sponsor a new device for him with this found. That's something that we propose as an idea, and I really want to ask what the community thinks of this, because I don't want to implement something that the community don't want. But in my opinion, it sounds like a good idea.
Great. So thanks all the sponsors, thanks to Patreons. Keep it up. Well, even small donations help us very much. And the interest is quite high. I think we reached these 500 users in the Telegram group. We have so many people on the forums. Now we have nearly 30 watchers on the YouTube channel. I think last time it was only 20 or so. So every 2 weeks, every week, the interest is rising. And I hope we can really deliver all the hopes and demands in the future. But you're right. We should also ask the community what they want for certain features, and see if we can make something out of this feedback. For example, today was a discussion about file manager, where we want to go with the file manager, and then we found out we really don't know how the people are using the file manager or want to use it. So I will set up some kind of forum thread where we can discuss it. and just come up to the forum and give your vision for what you want for a file manager. Is it just a simple thing? Is it very sophisticated? I don't know. Yeah? But there are certain aspects of the platform that really should be driven by the ideas of the community, because we also cannot know all the cool and nice features that you want to have. And we will try to be as responsive as possible, while of course not taking in every suggestion immediately, because otherwise we will have no goal and no direction. But a few things of the suggestions were already great. And also for audio files and for playback and so on, the usual thing that people do with a mobile phone today. They want to use it a little bit like audio player in the background, and these things should get a little bit more smooth, of course. Now Dalton is pinging in. He's asking if we are ready for him. I think we are ready for him. Now there is one question: how do we get Dalton into this live session now? Is it possible for him to join?
I think he can just join.
Okay, because I remember something after the Hangout was started, it was not able to add users, but let's try. So Dalton is about to join. In the meantime, there came in a few YouTube questions. I think we will do this later, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get Dalton in.
A quick glad news, which I just saw right now, which I'm kind of surprised about. Stats.UBports is reporting that we have 4,591, which is a huge number. But keep in mind that the stats.
Oh, and there he gone.
Website is only request our system server get, so it doesn't detect if a device drops out or something like that.
Okay, you had a little bit of a dropout again, but I think the people got that this is only estimate for the number of users, but it's really a huge number, I must say. I didn't expect to have that huge number in a few weeks. Yeah.
No, me neither. So that's what's the status on Dalton?
He just said he thinks he can join. So let's wait another 1 or 2 seconds. So there was one question about security, because we talked a little bit about security before. How you're handling security. And then there is a side note that Ubuntu Touch System has a weird security model. And in contrast, the open store is very open, as the name tells us. I think currently it's really like we are not reviewing the apps in the open store. We must be honest about that. And if you give an app more permissions, then it's clear it can do all the things. It could also do some evil things. But I think we should not lose the focus to change that in the future, to make it a little bit more secure. That's clear.
But I think what you mean also essentially mean with secure, it's not necessarily the apps that you are downloading. I think we are going in at the same model of as on the desktop. If you download a malware, you will get malware. I think that's where we are going. But the base, the Ubuntu Touch itself, it's secure, and it's up to the user to be aware that if you're downloading, for example, a random click app that's not from the open store, for example, there is nothing preventing people from making malicious clicks app. Clicks apps are not in contained like snaps, for example, which also is a real benefit of having Snap, where you have it in a sandbox environment where this one apps can't do anything else than what it's have permission for. But as I said, if you download a click app that is made specific as a malware, you will get malware on your phone. But that's the same on every platform. If you download that on Android, iOS, or whatever, if you download malware, you will get malware. There's nothing preventing us from user errors or user security breaks. But what we are trying our best to do is to have the click store as secure as we can, but still at the same time not limit the user. We want to be secure, but we don't want to limit the user. At the same time, we also want to be automatic. We don't want to sit down and review every app, which will be really painful. So that's why we have something called quick review, which is the apps, which is the same process as happening on the Ubuntu store. It's the same code that just goes through. It's called quick review, and that's essentially goes through the app as best as it can. And hello, Dalton. I think we
Hello.
got a.
Hello. Everyone hear me?
I think
Yes. Perfect.
Okay,
no.
set up right.
No.
Good.
I can hear him. Yes, we have been waiting for you.
Okay.
I think one of the things that we was waiting for you is first of all if you have something extra to have on the marketing side, because you have been following that more than I think at least I have been following it. We talked about generally having Odoo as a background to make it easier for the marketing team to get the news out and just make it easy in general. And we talk mostly of the new website. So if you have something extra to talk about the team and also the marketing except the website.
Sure. So they've been working pretty hard, especially today. I've been watching what's going on over there. They're really excited about the project, and we're happy to have them here. Other than that, if you covered what was in the note that I posted, then that's what they gave me. So.
Yep, I think we cover most of it. And also, one of the things that I am seeing Dalton have been hyping up for.
Okay.
The big news. So I think you can get the honor to take that since we have been taking all the rest of it.
Oh, so you're going to wait for me to be late and then give me the big news?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
it works for
definitely.
me. So, big news, everyone. Are you ready? I
We're
can't hear
ready.
any of you, so I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
So, we are officially announcing today the UBports Foundation. This is a legal nonprofit foundation in Germany. I forget exactly what the legal name for it is called. Mostly because it's in German.
Stiftung. Stiftung. You can practice Stiftung. But
Stiftung?
Stiftung. Okay. But why we are saying this? Because some people were already suggesting that we do something like that. And there is a second one. This is more like a community. It's called Verein. It's another legal form. But to be clear here, the foundation under German law will be a Stiftung. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Very similar to the Document Foundation, if you've seen any of the inner workings of that. So the purpose that it's putting forward is bringing the Ubuntu Touch operating system forward and free and open source software on phones. Specifically because the people who are sponsoring us to create the foundation believe in that being a big thing that is accessible to people. Because right now, if you want to have privacy on your phone, if you want to own your phone the way that you want to own it, you need to have a lot of know-how, buy one of the few phones that will allow you to do that. So the foundation is being brought forward to bring our OS forward. And it's not trying to bring a lot of red tape and everything into this ecosystem, because I know that's what a lot of people are concerned about as soon as they hear foundation, nonprofit, organizing. That's really not our goal here. So what's going to happen is we have the organization structure is still a little bit liquid. It's coming up, but in general, we have people apply to join, and then they become community members of the foundation. And I forget exactly what the terminology is. And from that pool, become voting members of the foundation's leadership. And the foundation's leadership works together with the voting members as well as the community at large to make decisions, long-term strategic goals, and use of money specifically. Since right now not having that structure is a bit of a problem with the money that we have, and that's being completely honest with everyone. It'll also bring a lot of transparency to how we are using money. So we need to put out monthly reports of how much we're taking in, how much we're using, what it's being used for. And we hope that that'll put a lot of people at ease who maybe don't know exactly what's happening in the project. And because transparency is something that we all believe in.
And it's really also for legal reasons. If we are going to collect money, not that any one of us is held responsible by some tax organization like a state or I don't know, by giving this transparency, we can also take in cooperations with companies that want to fund us, but they cannot, because if they give money to a private person, it's not so easy. Yeah, if you think about, like we talked before about people from Smooth or DigitalOcean or all the companies that are funding us already somehow, they have now a really legal way to give money to us and donate money, and they can even put it on their tax declaration, and it will be okay if it's given to a foundation. It's not that easy if it's given to Marius or Dalton or me, just with a financial transaction on PayPal or with Bitcoins and so on. So we have to take this step also to make things possible that are not possible now. And in turn, of course, these big sponsors or these premium sponsors, they will get on some kind of advisory board, as we think now, that they can also influence a little bit where we are going. That means they will communicate with us, they can make suggestions. They will not be able to really decide things, but they will be somehow having a voice being heard. So I think this is a really win-win situation for both sides. Yeah.
And also, so one thing to add to that is also when you have this organization, you are not trusting for when you are downloading this OS, trust in a legal system. You have backing by a non-profit profit foundation, and also and that way you will be sure that the things that's on your phones is not made by just a random community, which you can actually see that this is something that is in the legal system, and that it will be a system that will be both professional and also be trustworthy security wise, where you don't have to be like, for example, with Android community, where there's a lot of random people just making Android ROMs, and people just downloading and testing Android ROMs from everywhere. You never even know where those ROMs are coming from. But with this way, the same as with Canonical, you know where it's coming from. It's coming from the UBports Foundation, and you know who the team is. It's not just one person that's dictating what will be happening. There is actually a voting progress behind it, so people can just, I for example, can just run away with the money that I get, for example, or Dalton, if he gets X sum of money, he can just run away to Canada and never see him again.
Darn it.
So yeah, I think trust is one of the biggest thing for the end users. I would say it's really, you have something to lean on if something goes.
Yeah, and we also try to make this a democratic foundation. That means all these boards and functions will somehow control each other, either by voting rights or by set up terms that you're not there forever. You have a limited term, and then you need to be re-elected or confirmed again in this function. So I think this is a really big thing, and really useful for us to make this going for a long-term project, not only just now heating up and then after a few years we lose interest, but now we have then a structure that we can also give to the community and let them really participate in a good way.
Yeah, and also one thing to note is that there's huge sums of money going into this, and this is not something that just the foundation won't just disappear in 2 years. This foundation and this structure will stay for a long time, so you will know that this will be backed at least for a long time. At least with what's happening with the foundation, it's not like me just making ports anymore. This is on a whole different level. If I, for example, quit, there will still be the whole ship won't sink because there is a foundation behind it. So other people that sits in the board would have the full power. I'm not saying that I will quit. I will probably never quit this project because as you probably know, and after 2 years, I'm probably more passionate about it when I started the project, because this is the moment when things get exciting. When things actually happens and you see the rapid moving happening, which is really cool. And I hope really the community is excited about this. It just, yes, it's so it feels so good.
Okay, so we are getting a lot of questions in live chat about whether or not the foundation has a website. The foundation website is going to be just the current UBports.com website, and some of the foundation stuff is, and some of it is still being written because it's still all being set up. Whew. We're still getting that into place. So I will see how much we can throw up into the video description and add a reminder so I remember to do that.
Good. So it looks like we are through with our topics. We already answered some user questions in between. Shall we switch to community questions?
Yep, I think that's good.
Okay. We got one question here about if we, for app development, if someone should learn QML or C++. My honest answer would be, as far as I see now, you have to know both. But because some of the things are really not possible in QML, and most of the front-end work is much nicer. Some of the things that you need for Ubuntu Touch apps are not possible in QML that much, and in C++ you cannot do all the GUI things that would be cool. So I think it's some kind of mixture still. But yeah, I mean, this is a little bit not like on Android where you just have to learn Java and you're done. That's just my opinion.
But just to add to that, I think we talked about having.
Oh, Marius?
The Python.
Oh, I thought that was my connection.
Okay, no. Marius, we're still losing you a little bit, so I think it was not the last 5 sentences.
my internet is shit today. My company, my provider, they dig the wrong fiber cable, and that's not kidding. They dig the wrong fiber cable, so I was lost for internet. I think it's like 2 days now soon, and oh my god, it's so painful. And now they made a temporary solution, but it's so slow.
Anyway, those last 5 sentences you were trying to say.
I was trying to say that the Python QML binding will help out since C++ is a hard language and Python is just a heck of a lot simpler to learn. So if you can write something in QML and Python, I think that would help out a lot.
Okay, cool. Same app question again. Apps that run on Plasma, for example, and UT. I think that's not on my horizon, at least, because it will be pretty hard. to get an app that has compatibility for more than one of these alternative platforms, let's say.
Well,
But
Ubuntu Touch app works on Plasma. Ubuntu Touch app works on Plasma. So that's no problem. But I think the bigger question would be Sailfish. But
can you repeat all of that? After the bigger question is Sailfish.
Yeah, the bigger question is Sailfish, because they are quite a lot of different. Well, they still use Qt and those frameworks, so it would be easy to port over, but there's still a lot of the Ubuntu APIs that needs to be changed over to the Sailfish APIs. But as I said, Plasma already, Ubuntu Touch already works on Plasma, so win-win.
Okay, that's a positive answer, I would say. Okay, what else do we have? Will you port for OP3? Will you port for OP5? Do we have enough love for OnePlus something? Or yeah, you know.
So
we said before already, Dalton, just to know, we said before already that we are not porting currently to new hardware. Immediately there comes a question if you want port to OP3, of course.
Yeah, I put that post very prominently in the forum, and it still happens. So, yeah, people are excited, and it happens. We're always considering new devices, but right now we are bringing up Halium. Yes, I see you pointing, and I just gave the answer.
Well, I just want to add a glad news on that, because while I'm developing on Halium, it doesn't really matter what device I used to develop on. So there's a new device that has been in my possession for a while. That will be really exciting. 8 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon 835. Go figure what device that is. Hey.
Okay, maybe you okay. I think you can leak. I mean, also to explain, while we are telling now people we don't do new devices, but on the other hand, of course, we need to come forward also for the Halium 7 base, for the Android, for the new versions. We need also to have some new devices, of course, so the people will know that we will do internal testing on new devices. But I think everybody should understand we don't have a roadmap to make it now immediately work and to bring it out in the market, let's say. Yeah. It's always, when it's ready, it's ready. I think that's the message. Yeah.
I can give a hint.
So,
I can give a hint.
to put it more succinctly,
I can give a hint. Never settle.
Zenfone AR.
Never settle. If anyone gets that.
Okay, now the YouTube chat is going crazy with the different guesses. Okay, to distract everyone now from this topic, there was a question if the reported bugs that we already have now in the bug trackers, especially for the 15.04 versions, would be fixed before we go further with Halium and with 16.04. Well,
So
I would say it depends.
yeah, everything is happening in parallel right now, and it is taking a bit of a toll on some of the devs. Trying to find a balance of things we want to fix in 15.04 and things we want to put off to 16.04 is interesting at best. So it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Have I lost connection? No, okay.
Nope.
No, you're fine.
Well, I think I will add to that also is that things that we want to add is also something that will come later when we actually have some developing images out where people can try it out and see where the status of it is and what needs to be done. Because as I said earlier in this Q&A, is that Unity 8 is
Oh no.
kind of a Frank. So
it's a kind of a Frankenstein? Did you say Frankenstein?
Yeah, because it has like, this dash. You can swipe out from the side, and it comes like this. It's not like the dash, as you can see. Well, everyone should be familiar with the Ubuntu dash, but this phone doesn't have power. But the dash is where you can see the apps. But that's gone and in Xenial, so we need to bring that back somehow, because we can't have it how it is like right now. Because now you need to swipe from the left, and you need to swipe again to bring out the dash, which comes. Yeah, it's not made for phones, in my opinion. For some, it might look good, but
Designers, hey, we'd love your help.
yeah, designers. I think, yeah, on that topic, I think designers are one of the things that we are lacking. I don't think we don't have any designers on the team. So if someone is a designer, I really want to come on the team and make a effort to really design and make the appearance of Ubuntu Touch, and make markups, and also shape Ubuntu Touch, because you would then be the guy to design stuff. I think that's something we need. We need an operating system that both looks good and feels good.
Yeah, and connecting this with the foundation, there will be a possibility for everyone to apply for working with us in the foundation. And the application has some questions, and we really take it seriously. So you should prepare it not maybe for a job interview, but a little bit below that. So we want really to get impressed by the people that want to work with us, and we'll also try to select the best applications that we can get, just to make the quality from the beginning very well. It's not that we want to block anyone, but I think it's necessary to really get people that we can work with, that are team players, and at the same time they're really excellent in their field. And there will be several teams. It's not really fixed now 100%, and we will come back to you when the time is right with a link for you to being able to apply for being part of the foundation, not only part of the community.
Okay. Is there anything else that anyone has for today? I haven't
Yes,
seen any.
video
there are
recording
more.
playback on the N5. This is a nuisance for some people. They are
Long-standing
really
bugs.
a long-standing bug. There's a question: can we give some love to these video codecs? Because as I heard, this is mainly a problem of missing stuff on the Android side, or somehow linked with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think also these kind of would be we sorted out by Halium. That's why we are kind of holding these issues back, because we want to import everything to Halium and not do the dual work, as we said. We want to import everything into Halium, and then Halium fix it once instead of we fixing in Ubuntu and then we fix it again in Halium. That's why we are kind of holding back on fixing device bugs right now. The only reason why I fixed so many bugs before OTA 1 is because we are stable images that really need to pop. That's why we had so much bug fixes that happening before OTA 1. But don't worry, things will be start ramping up when OTA 2 gets close. I would say like when it gets closer to OTA 1, OTA 2, you'd see more bugs be fixed, because we still care about Vivid, since that's pretty much our only stable thing right now. Well, it is our only stable thing right now. So.
Okay, so more questions. How is the developing of Ubuntu Touch for tablets experience? I'm not pretty much sure that I understand what is exactly meant.
Convergence. It's all one code base.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, so basically
it's the same as going to the phone.
Exactly. And the ultimate goal is that we don't have any difference between tablets and phones. I think from the development side for apps and so on, there will be almost no difference. Except, of course, that now the tablets are running this Libertine container, but the Libertine apps are not specific apps that were made for touch, right? They are just running the normal versions of desktop apps. So this has nothing to do with developing for Ubuntu Touch tablet. Just a way to bring in apps from the desktop on the tablets. And with the tablets also, there is another small bug with the 3 minutes boot up time for the M10 Full HD. To be honest, I think to sort this out, we need a developer that has a Full HD all the time in his possession and really tries to find out what's going on. Because it seems that not all of the people are affected, or most of them, or it was just a certain OTA. I a little bit lost track of this bug. But I think it's the same what Mario said before. When we're trying to focus to bring up 1604 and Halium base, for the moment, we need a little bit of patience with these annoying bugs from 1504, and we will try to do our best to come up with a solution.
Right.
But it's better to fix the things only one time than twice or 3 times. That's clear.
Yeah, and a lot of the problem is that the 1504 stack we inherited isn't that great by any stretch of the imagination. So it's not easy. Okay, anything else on that?
No, I'm through with my list.
Another frequently asked question, why aren't all devices getting Xennial? Our 1604 images that are coming when they come.
I think the answer here is sadly that the devices is getting old, and also we need devices that really can perform our OS, and we can't be stuck on old devices, because we need to move with the technology development kits. We don't have the resources to do all of the devices. Like, for example, if we had the resources, we would do it. But we don't have the resources to manage all those devices, and then sadly we have to have some devices that will be stuck on Vivid, aka the legacy branch, as we call it. And that's just how it is. If someone wants to, for example, step up and continue maintaining the EQ, even but the core team in UBports and the core.
We are sorry for this interruption. We will right after this commercial. Oh boy, there he goes.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
1 hour is
gone.
over. The disconnected his cable again. No, he's back.
My cable company is killing me.
As he was saying, if you want to maintain them and try to get 1604 running on them, that's okay. But we're concerned with things like the closed source Android layer and all that. So if you want to do it, be our guest.
If someone can convince BQ to release everything that we need to make a good upgrade, then yeah, be our guest. You can make a community campaign and march to their place in Spain and ask for support. Maybe they're even going to sponsor the foundation, can be, but without certain information for that devices, it's really, really hard to get forward, even impossible to step them up. That's the point. Yeah.
But also, I think also Ubuntu Touch doesn't show its power. They barely have the hardware to run the OS itself. So I think, I think it's better for us to show off what we can do on better hardware than people being disappointed and trying it out on less hardware.
Okay, so basically, to mention, just we are now 8 minutes behind this, let's say behind our schedule, or 8 minutes late. If we want to continue, we can. I have nothing on my mind that comes now for
Yeah,
me.
we'll
but-
take this last question from
Yeah.
YouTube chat. The kernel version that's required for 1604, 3.10. Nothing lower.
That was an easy one.
And that's where we will stop. So, sorry for everyone who's getting your questions in right now, but
Yeah, we're really a bit
that's where
late.
we're going to stop. So, thank you everyone for coming out today, and thank you everyone who's watching in the future after. We did get about 1,500 views I've seen on the last Q&A, which thank you everyone.
I think. Am I back?
What?
Okay.
Yes, I think you're back.
Welcome back. We're finishing.
So I can't really do much about it.
Oh, now the
Yeah, that's
camera
fine.
has stopped.
Okay. So, outro. You can get a hold of us on our various social networks. We have Twitter, Diaspora, Mastodon, and probably a few others that I'm missing. Links are in the video description. We have the awesome marketing team watching those, so if you want to get a hold of us, our marketing team is showing us the true light of having a ton of social networks all bunched together so that we can see them in one place. Other than that, is there anything else you would like to add before we run off?
Subscribe and like.
Yes.
Can we get
No,
one?
I'm fine.
Can we get 1,000 million likes?
No, but we can get 12.
Probably.
Works for me.
Thanks
I
everyone
think
for
my
watching.
internet cut me off. Man,
Yeah, thanks to your cable company because they made it more fun for us. Somebody posted already a pixel picture on the Supergroup. Mario's in 32
Nice.
inches. So,
Just big pixel.
well,
yeah,
okay.
thanks.
Let's end this before my cable company ended.
Pulls the plug again.
Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.